So, ever since Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill revealed Justice League Snyder Cut or the Snyder Cut, I've been asked in a lot of the YouTube videos and also the video I made when I said potentially Ben Affleck is coming back as the Bat, and people are like, Warstu, that's never gonna happen. And this is the same kind of people that told me when all the news broke that Henry Cavill's Superman, he was done, he was dusted. Oh wait, Henry Cavill's still in talks to be Superman. So this is where this video gets interesting in my opinion. Now I know my audience loves Ben Affleck as Batman. Warstu, when you're editing this, insert the BVS warehouse fight scene because that is one of the greatest comic book fight scenes ever. So, last year, Ben Affleck was out, he was done. He even went on a talk show and said he was done. But he isn't done, is he? I don't know. Well, recently, there is an interview, an article going around where it says Ben Affleck definitively answers whether he would return to playing Batman again. And I think a lot of people are not reading between the lines. We've got to use Henry Cavill as an example. He was also done and dusted, but ever since the Witcher press tour in December, we got to watch that early, thank you Netflix, Henry Cavill's like, yeah, I'm still Superman, I never said any different, and he didn't. He just wasn't publicly talking about it. So, Ben Affleck, who is a great actor, he had a lot of issues in his life. During the kind of Batman phase, his son loved him playing Batman. For some reason, the internet didn't. Although now they do, so it's interesting. So is there a chance Ben Affleck may return? Now we know he will be returning in the DCEU, not the DC Cinematic Universe, the DCEU, the only good movement that there is in DC. We know he's going to be in the Snyder Cut. In a recent interview with a YouTuber called Dwayne, Affleck cleared up the misconceptions about whether he would return to play Batman again and whether or not we would get the Joe Manganiello Deathstroke fight that we all wanted, that we all want. Please, please DC, I know you watch my videos, please. So he said this. Yeah, that's not the kind of. I had the opportunity to write and direct and star in a standalone Batman, and it happened in a point of life when I lost interest in those stories. I'll go see Robert Pattinson's movie. I think it'd be great. He's great. But The Way Back is the kind of story I'm interested in telling now. So what is The Way Back? It's a movie that I think has already came out. It's essentially about a redemption arc. He is a basketball teacher, I believe, basketball coach, and he goes down a dark path and he has one strike. He has one chance to redeem himself. Redemption. It's literally a movie about Affleck's real life. So then everyone's running this story saying that Ben Affleck is 100% out. He's definitely out. But he just said that's the kind of story I'm interested in right now. I'm interested in telling now. And what does now mean? It means like literally right now. So just the same case that Henry Cavill was rumoredly not Superman, even though I kept telling you that Henry Cavill was still going to be Superman. This to me does tell me that he's not done and dusted. He's really not. Affleck was no different. The actor submitted a video message to Kevin Smith, Fat Man Beyond the show. Affleck expressed his thanks to his fans and enthusiasm for seeing Snyder's vision finally come to fruition. So Ben Affleck does support Zack Snyder. Fully supports Zack Snyder. He really does. So I see the comments in the videos saying Ben Affleck would never come back. Robert Pattinson is not losing his job. We're not on about that, guys. We're really not on about that. AT&T is now running the shit. Warner Bros is working for AT&T like they always have been. But Warner Bros has lost power play. They really have. Do you really think Warner Bros wanted to release a Snyder Cut? No. But AT&T owns them and was like, we're releasing this. So Ben Affleck is in a much better place in his life. He really is. I believe he's also dating his co-main star from his most recent movie. So he's in a much better place in his personal life. Then you go back to the article and he says, that's the kind of story I want to make right now. So it's just a case of saying, yeah, the Batman movie with Joe Manganiello is coming, because even Joe Manganiello's teased it. But I can't tell you that until we know how well the Snyder Cut is done in. So I've made a few videos about Ben Affleck returning because it is really popular. It's going around the community. You guys keep asking it. You keep asking about Joe Manganiello returning. And I think Ben Affleck has confirmed that he's coming back. He really has. You know, there's so many different variations. We know the Robert Pattinson Batman is going to be great and it can start shooting on July the 7th according to UK reports. Because the new Jurassic Park movie can start shooting then. So, yeah, that Batman movie is in a different universe. It's in maybe like a standalone universe like the Joker movie is. But you go back to the YouTuber interview right now. He wants to make the redemption arc right now. So there is a lot of people on YouTube and a lot of people all over the place saying that he's back. It's just a case of when, not if. Most likely will not revealed to after the Snyder Cut comes out. So what is interesting is Zack Snyder recently revealed which Robin is killed or was killed in the DCEU in Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice. And this did surprise me because everyone thought it would be Jason Todd. But it actually appears that courtesy of a Vero question, it was in fact Dick Grayson died prior to the event of Dawn of Justice, and that its suit just hangs up in the Batcave, and that clears up something. Comments from Suicide Squad director David Ayer, who gave the impression that Jason Todd was dead, which is interesting. So no, it's Dick Grayson, which is interesting, but this is DCEU, so whatever they're building now, I've got no idea what is going on with that universe, but Dick Grayson is dead in that universe, but that does not stop anything happening in whatever Matt Reeves is trying to build in his universe. But more importantly, David Ayer, who was the Suicide Squad director, has hinted so many times that his alliteration of the Suicide Squad movie was very, very different, to the point where it was a completely different movie. It has now come to light, courtesy of Twitter, that we can't say allegedly because there's factual evidence there, but I'm still going to say allegedly because we don't know if said story is true, that it appears the timeline in the DCEU was heavily modified because of Geoff Johns. Now, this is something that keeps coming up and coming up, that Geoff Johns essentially destroyed the DCEU because he tried to get rid of Affleck. Now, we said it in previous videos that Ben Affleck's script of the Batman movie was so great, yet for some reason Warner Bros. Would never clear it, even though there's very well respected people at DC, at Warner Bros. At the time, because obviously everyone at Warner Bros. Now has pretty much left since the disaster of the Snyder Cut, which wasn't a disaster, but you know, they ruined their own movie because they wanted to change every single bit because it was too dark and they wanted fairy tales and unicorns like the MCU has. But for some reason, that is pretty much what's happened. It appears that Geoff Johns did destroy DCEU, he changed the whole timeline, but how exactly did that happen? So on Twitter, David Ayer Movies, that's his verified account, was asked the question. I think the text was added later by the editors, who didn't get the full story. The backstory behind his teeth makes Harley become an accomplice impossible. And then this is where it gets very, very interesting. David Ayer responds, yes, that broke my timeline. Johns added it. The way the director refers to Johns doesn't point to him being overly fond of the comic book writer and producer, but it's been speculated in the past that he also interfered in Zack Snyder's variation of the Justice League that resulted in the Justice League being released, and Warner Media subconsciously decision to release the Snyder Cut. Now Ayer is campaigning for his movie to release the Ayer Cut, which would see Jared Leto, or Leto as you Americans call him, come to fruition, which is steadily gaining momentum. Apparently it would be a lot easier to edit than the Snyder Cut would be. Now it's all to do with the teeth. So it was there he got his new smile and met Harlequin. So essentially the story goes something like this. In the past, the filmmaker has explained Joker's murdered Robin, but as we just said, it's Dick Grayson, and he had his teeth smashed by Batman, and then ended up in Arkham Asylum. It was there he got the new smile and met Harley Quinn, but text that flashed up on the screen during each character introduction confirmation and confirmed that she was complicit in Robin's demise. However, if Ayer is to be believed, it was Johns who decided to make the change to his film. It broke my timeline. Essentially, he broke the DCEU, allegedly. We've got to say allegedly because this is YouTube, but it is interesting how essentially we could have Suicide Squad movie that was a prequel to the Justice League movie, which would have made it a completely different movie. Then if they gave Zack Snyder the prior time they should have done due to a family tragedy, they could have delayed the movie by a year or so. It wouldn't have made much difference because it's the Justice League. It's Superman, Batman. It would have sold much better. So realistically, I guess you could say allegedly conspiracy theory, Geoff Johns broke the DCEU. So it is interesting. So in my opinion, Affleck's comment mean that he is coming at some point. Joe Manganiello versus Batman is going to happen at some point. So likewise, guys, let me know. Do you want Batfleck back? Do you agree that Geoff Johns changed the movie that broke the timeline, that essentially broke the whole movie, which is why not many people like the Suicide Squad movie, but I really think it's cool. But Steppenwolf was supposed to appear in there, the mother boxes. It literally makes no sense now to bring the Snyder Cut out before releasing the actual David Ayer cut of the Suicide Squad. So you got to see the prequel to the Justice League, then see Snyder's Justice League, or else it won't make any sense. Now, like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. And if you could, it would be cool if you could check out twitch.tv/Warstu. You can have a chat about all this kind of stuff over there. We'll be streaming a bunch of games pretty soon. If you could check me out on Instagram at Warstu, Twitter, WarstuGG. You know, we'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch you later.